Correct. Thank you. Yeah. Fan off பண்ணுமா? சரி ஓகே. இப்படி போய் எக்ஸ்ட்ராக்ட் பண்ணுறியா? Good evening. Am I audible to everyone? Divya, good evening. Abhirami, yes. Am I audible to everyone? Yes, Karthik, good evening. Sandhya, good evening. Am I audible to everyone? Dinesh, good evening. Sivakumar, good evening. Yes. Siva, good evening. Saujanya, good evening. Yes, happy evening everybody. So welcome to this 30 days masterclass on advanced Python programming. So yeah, what we are going to see in this 30 days masterclass. So firstly, it is being split into 5 modules. So it is going to be a 30 days masterclass program. Every day the classes will be conducted live in the YouTube channel from 6 to 6:45 in the evening. So the entire learning plan, the advanced Python programming, so it is split into 5 sections or 5 modules. First one, so I am going to discuss with you about the introduction to Python, data structures. So basically everything we are going to do using Python. So it is going to be an advanced Python programming masterclass. And in the second module, I will be discussing with you about advanced Python programming concepts. What do you mean by iterators, modules, decorators, list comprehension? So I will be discussing about these topics. And then in the third section, I will be discussing with you about different types of libraries. Pandas library, NumPy, Matplotlib, sklearn, and then Seaborn library. So what are all the different libraries that are required for our development? So I will be discussing with you about different types of libraries. And automation in Python. So what are all the different types of tasks that can be done using Python language? Weight converter GUI using Python, card game using Python. So I will be discussing. So what are all the different types of tasks that can be done? Automation. So how powerful is this language? What are all the different types of things that can be done using this Python language? And finally, I will be discussing some of the projects using all these libraries and different types of algorithms. What are all the different types of projects that can be developed using this Python language? Clear with this? So what we are going to see in this 30 days masterclass? Firstly, so this is going to be our 30 days learning plan. On the day 1, I am going to give an introduction to Python language. What do you mean by Python? So what are all the different types of tools? So I am going to discuss with you about Jupyter. So I am going to give a brief introduction to Python. And then I will be discussing with you about different types of syntaxes and data structures. So what are all the different types of loops, decision making statements, tools and data structures. And then dictionaries, list. So I am going to discuss with you about different types of data structures available in Python. Classes and objects, regular expressions, and then we will be starting slowly with the advanced Python concepts. So firstly, I am going to give an introduction to Python, and then I will be discussing with you about advanced Python concepts. What do you mean by classes and objects, regular expression, iterators, modules, generators, list comprehension, serialization, partial functions. So I will be discussing about these concepts. I will be giving you some implementation examples of all these concepts. Networking concepts, multithreading. And then I will be discussing with you about different types of libraries available in Python. What is the use of Pandas library, NumPy. So for doing any kind of mathematical operations, we require NumPy library. And Matplotlib, what is the use of Matplotlib library? So for doing any kind of data visualization task, we require Matplotlib library, Seaborn library, sklearn, Keras library. So I will be discussing with you about different types of libraries available in Python. And then I will be discussing with you about automation. So what are all the different types of things that can be automated using Python? Weight converter GUI, chessboard game, card game, Python clock apps. So what are all the different types of games that can be developed using Python? Automation in Python. This is one important concept in Python. And finally, I will be discussing about some projects. So chatbot creation, electricity price prediction. So I am going to discuss with you about different types of projects that can be done using this Python language. Clear with the agenda? So what we are going to see in this 30 days masterclass. So it is going to be a very wonderful session. So I am going to handle, so firstly I will be discussing with you about different concepts of Python. And then I will be discussing with you about the advanced Python concepts. What is the use of iterators, modules, packages, generators, so list comprehension. So I will be discussing with you about advanced Python concepts. And then I will be discussing with you about libraries. What are all the different types of libraries available in Python? So I am going to create a weight converter GUI using Python, chessboard game using Python, card game, clock app, turtle graphics. So I am going to discuss with you about different types of games that can be developed using this Python language. So automation. So each and every type of language, it has got its own unique features. So what are all the important features of this Python language? Chatbot creation, electricity price prediction, customer segmentation, house price prediction. So I will be discussing with you about different types of projects that can be developed using this Python language. So what is the objective of this 30 days masterclass? So what we are going to do? So Pantech, it will help you to learn the technology in an easy way. We are going to create some 10 projects in advanced Python. Clear with the agenda. So what we are going to, so I will be discussing what is the use of tkinter library and what are all the different types of applications that can be developed using this Python language. Clear with the agenda. So what we are going to see in this 30 days masterclass program, advanced Python programming. So this is what we are going to see in this 30 days masterclass program. So all the projects, whatever projects I am discussing, everything will be, I will just execute in Jupyter Notebook. So basically, what do you mean by a program? So we have different types of programming languages. So what do you mean by a program? So whenever we want the computer to perform some operation, we require a program. It is nothing but a set of instructions which is going to perform some task. For example, so what is the use of all these types of programming languages? So we are going to instruct the computer similar to human beings. So how human brains think, and they are going to come up with some important result, prediction result, or whenever a human, he want to perform some task, we need to instruct the human beings. Similarly, I am going to instruct the machines. So this is what is called as a program. So a program is nothing but a set of instructions. It is used to perform some task. Whenever we want the computer to perform some task, we need to give some set of instructions. For example, everything is becoming online, many online websites, banking transactions, you can imagine hospital management system, so everything is becoming online. So whenever we want a computer to perform some specific task, we need to give some instructions, program. A program is nothing but a set of instructions which is used to perform some task. So basically we have two different types of programming languages. One is called as a high-level programming language and one more is called as a low-level programming language. So what do you mean by a high-level programming language and what do you mean by a low-level programming language? So Python, C, C++, Perl, Java, all this comes under high-level programming language. And we have two different types of low-level programming languages. We have machine language and then assembly language. These two come under low-level programming languages. Clear with this? So what do you mean by a high-level programming language and what do you mean by a low-level programming language? So similar to English language, so what do you mean by Python language, what do you mean by Java language, C, C++, Perl, all this comes under high-level programming language. And we have one more type of programming language, it is called as a low-level programming language. We have machine language and assembly language. So these two come under low-level programming language. Clear with this? So basically we have high-level programming language and low-level programming languages. So based on my requirement, whenever I want to build some website or I want to construct some other type of thing, so I can go for Java language. So I can build some website, railway reservation system. So you can imagine anything. So everything is becoming online. So websites, so whenever you want to build based on my requirement. So Python is one popularly used language for doing any kind of predictive analytics, machine learning, artificial intelligence, all these technologies are growing at a very, very fast rate. So Python is one popularly used language for doing any kind of predictive analytics. Clear? So we can go based on my requirement, I can go for any of the high level programming languages. I can go for Python, C, C++, Perl, Java. And we have two different types of low level language. One is called as a machine language and one more is called as an assembly language. So whenever an assembler, so embed C coding, so I can go for this assembly language. Clear? So basically, what is the use of all these types of programming languages? So I was discussing with you about Python language, Perl language, Java language. So we have two different types of programming languages. One is called as a high level programming language and one more is called as a low level programming language. And we have two different kinds of programming processes. So a program is nothing but a set of instructions given to the machine, given to the computer, which is used to perform some specific task. And we have two different kinds of programming process. One is called as an interpreter and one more is called as a compiler. These two are the different kinds of programming processes. So one is called as an interpreter and one more is called as a compiler. So what do you mean by a programming process? So whenever I am going to write some program, whenever I am going to develop something, so website development, so we need to check for some errors. So what are all the different modules that are present in the interpreter and what are all the different modules. So these two are the different kinds of programming processes. I need to check for some errors. I need to maintain the code and I am going to give some correct output. So we have two different types of programming processes. One is called as an interpreter and one more is called as a compiler. So these two are the different kinds of programming processes. So one is called as an interpreter and one more is called as a compiler. What are all the different modules that are present in an interpreter? I have an input module, alright. So I have an output module and working mechanism. So how does an interpreter work, the speed of an interpreter, memory, errors, error detection. So all these are the different modules that are present in an interpreter. Clear with this? So what are all the different units or modules that are present in an interpreter? So I have a input module, input unit or an input module. So whatever you can call. So I have an input module, output module, working mechanism, speed, memory, errors and then error detection. So it is going to take a single line of code or instruction at a time. So how does an interpreter, it is going to interpret the program and I am going to get some correct result. So I am going to take some single line of code or instruction at a time. So line by line. So whenever I am doing any kind of development, you can imagine. So what is the use of all these types of high level programming languages? So I was discussing with you about different types of high level programming language. What is the use of Python language, Java language? So it is going to take a single line of code or instruction at a time. And output, it does not produce any intermediate object code. So all these are the different units that are present in an interpreter. And working mechanism, the compilation and execution take place simultaneously in an interpreter. And speed of an interpreter is slower when compared to compiler. And memory, so it requires less memory as it does not create any intermediate object code. So all these are the different units or features that are present in an interpreter. And errors, they display error of each line one by one. So one by one they are going to execute the code and they are going to display the error. That is the role of an interpreter. And error detection is easier in interpreter when compared to compiler. So all these are the different units or modules that are present in an interpreter. So it takes single line of code and it does not produce any intermediate object code. And working mechanism, compilation and execution takes place simultaneously. So all these are the different units that are present in an interpreter. And what are all the different units that are present in a compiler? So I have an input unit, I have an output unit, working mechanism. So how does a compiler work? Speed of a compiler, memory, errors and then error detection. So in case of interpreter, it is going to take single line of code or instruction at a time. So whereas a compiler, how does it work? It takes an entire program at a time. So that is the main difference between an interpreter and a compiler. So these two are the different types of programming processes. So whenever I am developing any code, so how the code is being analyzed. So I have to check for errors. I need to compile the code. So whether the programmer, whether the developer has written the correct code. So all these are the different units that are present in a compiler. So it takes an entire program at a time, and output it generates intermediate object code. So an interpreter does not generate intermediate object code, whereas a compiler it generates intermediate object code. And working mechanism, compilation is done before execution. And speed of a compiler is faster when compared to the interpreter. And memory requirement is more due to the creation of object code. So all these are the different units that are present in a compiler. And errors, they display all the errors after compilation. So I am going to compile the entire program and I am going to display all the errors. And error detection is difficult in compiler when compared to the interpreter. Clear with this? So what are all the different units that are present in an interpreter and what are all the different units that are present in a compiler? So all these are the different units that are present in an interpreter, and all these are the different units. So it has an input unit, output unit, working mechanism, speed, memory, errors. Clear? So whenever a developer or a programmer he is developing something, so you can imagine, so what is the use of Python language? So next time I am going to discuss with you what are the different things or applications that can be developed using Python. So whenever a programmer or a developer he is going to develop something, so I need to check, so what is the use of all these kinds of programming processes? So why am I stressing on these two units? What is the use of a compiler and what is the use of an interpreter? So errors, they display all the errors after compilation. So I am going to compile the entire program and I am going to display all the errors, all at the same time. And error detection is difficult in compiler when compared to the interpreter. Clear with this? So all these are the different units that are present in an interpreter. So I have a source code block. It is given to the interpreter and it is given to the output monitor. So I am going to get the display at the output. So all these are the different blocks that are present in an interpreter. So what is the use of these two kinds of programming process? What is the use of an interpreter and what is the use of a compiler? So the interpreter, it is going to take the source code. It is given to the interpreter block. The source code, it is given to the interpreter block. And then I am going to get the final output. Clear with this? So all these, it is going to interpret, as I was telling you, right? So what are all the different modules or units that are present in an interpreter? What is the main difference between an interpreter and a compiler? So an interpreter, it is going to take each and every line of code. Whereas a compiler, it is going to take an entire program. So I am going to compile the entire program and I am going to generate the output. Clear with this? So all these are the major differences between an interpreter and a compiler. And what are all the different units that are present in a compiler? So I have a source code block. It is given to the compiler unit. Whatever is the source code written by the programmer, it is given to the compiler. And then it is converted to the object code. The source code, it is given to the compiler. It is converted to the object code. And then it is given to the executor. Finally, I am going to get the output from the output monitor. Clear with this? So what are the different units or blocks that are present in a compiler? So I have a source code block. It is given to the compiler and then it is converted to object code. The source code, it is given to the compiler, it is converted to the object code. it is given to the executor, and finally I am going to get the output from the output unit. So all these are the different blocks that are present in an interpreter and a compiler. The compiler, so what is the main difference? The compiler, it is going to take the entire program, it is going to compile and it is going to check for some errors, if there are any errors in the program. Whereas an interpreter, it is going to take each and every line of code. So that is the main difference between an interpreter and a compiler. So it is going to take each and every line of code and I am going to get the output. Clear with this? So we have two different types of programming process. One is called as a compiler and one more is called as an interpreter. So Python is a high-level programming language. So what all the important features or important points you should note about this language? So it is a high-level programming language. Faster to learn. So whenever I am discussing with you about any type of language, what is the use of Python language, I was discussing what is the use of Java. So we have different types of high-level programming languages. C, C++, Perl, Java. So Python is faster to learn and applications can be developed at a faster rate using this Python language. And available for many platforms, platform independent. So Python language, it can run on any type of platform. It can run on Windows operating system, Linux, Unix. Platform independent. So whenever I am considering any type of programming language, whether it may be a high level programming language or a lower level programming language. And they can implement complex logic. So whatever may be the complexity of the logic. So Python today, predictive analytics, artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, all these technologies are growing at a very, very fast rate. So they can implement complex logic with only very few lines of code. So just with few lines. So easier to learn. So whenever I am talking about any type, so why I have to choose Python language? So what is why Python language is growing at a very, very fast rate for doing any kind of AI ML task? So faster to learn. So the language can be learned at a faster rate and applications can be developed at a faster rate using this Python language. Clear with this? So all these are the important points or the features of this programming language. What is the use of all these types of programming languages? So next I am going to discuss with you about the history of this Python language. So Guido von Rossum, he is the person who invented this language at National Research Institute for Mathematics and Computer Science in Netherlands in the year 1989. Clear with this? So Guido von Rossum, so he is the person who invented this language at National Research Institute for Mathematics and Computer Science in Netherlands. This language was invented in the year 1989. So why do we have to go for this Python language? So far I was discussing, so what are all the important features of this language? Next I am going to discuss with you about why we have to go for this programming language. Why one should use this Python language. What are all the different things that can be done using this Python language. So data processing task. So why we have to go for this Python language? Modular toolkit for data processing library. So whenever I want to process some huge volumes of data, the whole world is evolving around data. For example, you can take any transactions, banking transactions, hospital management system, or you can take any other online website. So wherever you go, e-commerce industry, so online buying and selling, Amazon, Flipkart, so all these industries are growing at a very, very fast rate. So a huge volume of data is being generated. The whole world is evolving around data. So in whichever sector you go, you can imagine. So data processing. So what is the use of this Python language? So it has got a MTP library, modular toolkit for data processing library. It is used for performing some complex data processing algorithm. So powerful language for complex data processing. and signal processing tasks. So what are all the different applications that can be developed using this Python language? So neuroscience data analysis, brain signals, so signal processing. So neuroscience data analysis, this is growing at a very fast rate. So whenever I want to medical imaging, so what are all the different applications of this language? So while this language is most popularly used for doing any kind of predictive analytics, I can go for other types of high level programming languages. I can go for C language, C++, Perl, Java. So I have different types of high level programming languages. What is the main use of this Python language? So it is used in neuroscience data analysis. So whenever I want to analyze the brain signals, and I am going to come up with some important result. So it has got a greater contribution in neuroscience data analysis. This is one important application that can be developed using this Python language, signal processing task. And Pygame, game making software. So it can be applied across what are all the different types of applications. So all these are the different types of applications that can be developed using this Python language. Game making software. Pygame is a powerful game making software. It is designed for writing games. So it is going to attract the older people as well as the younger people. So all these are the different types of applications that can be developed using the Python language. And Maya Python, movie creation tool. For example, some adventurous movies, humorous movies. So all these are the different types of applications that can be developed using this programming language, Maya Python. So it is a great tool for movie creation. And musical software analysis. Audio players, audio converters. For example, I want to convert the music that is being played from one format to another format, from MP3 to MP4. And I want to analyze the quality of music. So what type of music is being played? Musical notation. I want to understand the meaning of the music that is being played. Audio analysis, audio players. So all these are the different types of applications that can be developed using this programming language. So it is going to attract, you can see, it can be applied across a variety of fields, right from musical industry, medical industry. So all these are the different types of applications. Clear with this? So it can be used in movie creation tool. So whenever I want to develop, today many online movie sites, Netflix, all these are growing at a very fast rate, Amazon Prime. So many different movie sites are growing. So Maya Python, it is a tool, it is written in Python language. And game making software. So Pygame is one powerful Python module for writing games. Clear with this? So all these are the different types of applications that can be developed using this programming language. And website development framework. So Django is a very powerful website development framework that can be written in Python language. So all these are the different types of applications that can be developed using this Python language. Till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. If you are interested, you can go to Pantech Instamojo and you can register for Advanced Python Programming Masterclass. So Advanced Python, this is the coupon code. It is going to be the 596, this is the internship charge. Once you register for this internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. So once you are going to attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright. So if you are interested, you can enroll in advanced Python programming and Python full stack. So we are going to use Django framework, and we are going to develop how we can connect whatever predictive analytics we are doing, we can just display in the front end. So the internship cost, it comes around $9.99. Clear? So in the Python full stack program, so you will be learning about the Django framework and the Flask framework. So how to connect Python with how to connect with the database and how to create applications. So far whatever predictions that are being done using different types of machine learning algorithms, it can be combined with Django and Flask framework, and it can be displayed in the front end. Clear? So I'll be discussing about some database basics and how to connect Python with the database and how to create a full stack application using Python. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for Advanced Python Programming Masterclass program. So it is going to be 30 days program. Advanced Python, this is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright. Till this part, whatever I am discussing, everything is clear. Any doubts so far? So let me just continue. So I was discussing what are all the different types of applications that can be developed using Python language. So website development framework. So Django is a very powerful. So whenever I want to develop some websites using this Python language, so you can use Django or Flask framework. So it is written in 100% pure Python. So next I am going to discuss with you about the differences between Python 2 and Python 3. So Python 2 is a legacy. So it is a previously used version of Python. Python 3 is the present version and it is going to be the future. So it was released in the year 2008. So Python 2 has some special libraries which Python 3 doesn't have. Clear with this? So that is why Python 2 we are still using for doing some kind of predictive analytics. So Python 3 is the popularly used version of Python. So Python 2 contains some essential libraries which Python 3 doesn't have. So if you want to type any kind of Python coding, you can go for Python idle. So you can just go to Google, you can download Python idle and you can start typing your Python code. Or you can go for Anaconda Navigator. It is an open source distribution. It is available online. You can go to Google, you can download Anaconda Navigator and you can use Jupyter Notebook for doing any kind of Python coding. Clear with this? Or you can go for PyCharm. So all these are the different platforms that are available for writing Python coding. So I will just show you a simple example using Jupyter. So whenever I am going to type in something, so if you want to download Anaconda Navigator, just go to Google. So you can type Anaconda Navigator. So Anaconda Navigator download. So you can just click this link, Anaconda Navigator, and there is a download button. So once you are going to click the download button, so you can download Anaconda Navigator and you can start using Jupyter Notebook. For example, whenever I am typing something, print off, so I am typing welcome to advanced Python programming. I am just typing something. So this is what, so once you have Anaconda Navigator, this is my home screen of Anaconda Navigator. So you can just see here. So after downloading Anaconda Navigator, just double click the Anaconda Navigator, follow the instructions. You will be getting some dialog boxes. Just click the next button and finally click the finish button. So once you have downloaded this Anaconda Navigator, just go to the start menu. So I am going to go for this Anaconda Navigator, and you have different options. You can go for data load, Jupyter Lab, Jupyter Notebook. So I have different options inside this Anaconda Navigator. So I have Spider, RStudio. So I have different options inside this Anaconda Navigator. And inside this documents, so whenever you want to go to any of this, you can go for contacts, desktop. So you have different options inside the home page of this Anaconda Navigator. You can go for this documents. Clear? And whenever you want to type in something, so you have different options here. You can go for this new, and then I am going to give here as Python 3 notebook. Clear with this? So once I am going to click the new option, so a new notebook will be opened here. Just give the title as my first notebook. Clear? So I am going to rename this. So just type in something. Welcome to, I am just saying Advanced Python Programming Masterclass. I am just typing something like this. Advanced Python Programming Masterclass. Clear? So whenever I am going to type in, so each and every cell inside my notebook, it is called as a code cell. Whenever I am going to type in something inside my code cell, I am going to get the output just below the input. For example, I am just printing something. So whenever I want to multiply two numbers, 2 into 3 within this simple brackets, whenever I want to multiply two numbers, I am going to get the output just below the input. Clear with this? So all these are the different types of things that can be developed using this Python. So it is called as an interactive mode. So I am going to interact. It is similar to a command line. Whenever I am going to type in something inside my code cell, I am going to get the output just below the input. So you can go for this Python idle. Just type. So I have downloaded my Python idle. Alright, just type something inside my start button. You can see here my Python idle screen is being opened. So whenever I am typing something, I am just typing some message, hello everybody. You can see here, so I am just typing something. Whenever I type something, so I am going to get the output just below the input. Clear with this? So this is called as an interactive mode programming. So what do you mean by this interactive mode? Whenever I am going to type in something, say for example I am adding two numbers. For example 7 plus 8. So I am just interacting. It is similar to a command line. Whenever I am typing something, I am going to interact. I am typing something inside this code cell. I am getting the output just below the input. So just go to file, new option. Clear with this? So I can type in something. Say for example, I am saying A equal to 10. I am saying B equal to 20 and A plus B. you can just save this file. Just go to file and then save option. So I can save in the desktop, or I am just saving this as test.py file. Just click the save button. I am going to run this. So all these are the different options that are available in my Python idle. I can go for file option, I can go for edit, format, run options. Just go to run. I am going to give here as run module. Clear with this? So these two numbers are being added. For example, I am having 10 and 20. So the addition of two numbers will be displayed at my output. And you can see here, so whatever .py file I have just saved, so it will be saved in my desktop, test.py. So this is called as a script mode programming. So there are two ways of programming. One is called as an interactive mode and one more is called as a script mode. So whenever you want to open this file, just you can go to the desktop, right click this file. I am going to give here as edit with idle. Clear? So just click the run and then run module option. Clear with this? So how to use Anaconda Navigator? So if you want to download idle, you can just Google and you can download idle and you can just start using them. So one is called as an interactive mode programming and one more is called as a script mode programming. Clear? So you can see here. So whenever I want to save any of the Python files, I need to save with .py extension, .python file. You can see here, so I am typing something, print within double quotes, I am giving here as hello, or I am going to multiply two numbers. So whenever I want to multiply two numbers or if I want to print something, so I am just enclosing this within double quotes. Clear with this? Till this part, whatever I am speaking, everything is clear. So one is called as an interactive mode programming and one more is called as a script mode programming. So what do you mean by what is the difference between an interactive mode programming and a script mode programming? So interactive, so whenever I am going to type something, so I am going to get the output just below the input. And script mode programming, for example, I am going to multiply two numbers, or if I want to display something, I can go for interactive mode programming or script mode programming. So what do you mean by an interpreter? I was discussing with you about two different types of programming process. One is called as a compiler and one more is called as an interpreter. So interpreter, whenever I want to convert my source code into the bytecode, so execution equal to interpreter, give life to your code. So this is how my software logic looks like. So whenever I am giving any code, so it is given to the interpreter unit. The interpreter, it is going to interpret each and every line, it is going to execute, it is going to check for some errors, and it is given to the hardware unit. With this, I am just stopping today. If you have any doubts, you can just ask me. I hope I am clear with my topics. So today I just gave an introduction to Python. What do you mean by this programming language? And what are all the different types of applications that can be developed? What are all the different types of programming process and applications that can be developed using this language? If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for Advanced Python Programming Internship Program. Advanced Python, this is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate. And the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Alright. So if you are interested, you can register for advanced Python programming and Python full stack program. It is going to be a 2-month internship program. Alright. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for advanced Python programming and Python full stack internship program. So once you are going to register for this, so you will be learning how to develop a full stack development, website development using this Python language. So how to use Django and Flask framework, how to connect with the backend, how to, for example, whenever I am doing any kind of predictive analytics, so how I am going to display in the front end. So you will be learning the basics. So how to develop a web page using HTML, and then you will be learning about different Django concepts or Flask concepts. What are the different concepts available in these frameworks, and how to interact with the database, how to execute queries in the database, how to connect Python with the database, and finally you will be you will be gaining some knowledge how to develop some applications using this Python language. Alright. So the 2-month internship cost will be around $9.99, and the 1-month internship advanced Python programming internship cost will come around ₹596. If you are interested, you can go to InstaMojo and you can register for advanced Python programming internship program. Advanced Python, this is the coupon code. Once you register for the internship, you will be getting access to the PPTs, the recorded videos, the project files, how the projects are being developed. You will be gaining more practical knowledge. Once you attend this masterclass for 25 days, you will be receiving a free webinar certificate, and the internship users, they will be receiving an internship certificate as well as a participation certificate. Any doubts? I hope I am clear with my topics. Any doubts in today's topic, whatever I have discussed? Alright then. Remaining things we will see tomorrow, same time, same link. Thank you all.